What's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another live stream. I have no idea what I just did there. I hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. I'm gonna wait for some people to join in here. But yeah, so today I wanted to react to Taiwanese people living living in Canada, which I find really, I don't know, I find that kind of interesting. Just because, I spend so much time making content about my life here in Taiwan. And it'd be fun to see the reverse. It'd be fun to see how people in Canada who are Taiwanese experiencing that life, because it is so different. Everything is different. Maybe not everything, but like major things in your life are really, really different. So like the weather, for example, is obviously different. Like in Canada, we have 4 seasons. In Taiwan, they have like 2 seasons probably. It's either unforgivably hot and ridiculous, or it's freezing cold. The actual temperature itself in Taiwan obviously doesn't get as cold as Canada. It doesn't really drop below zero. I would say the coldest it gets is like 7 or 8 degrees Celsius is probably the coldest. But because Taiwan is so humid, it gets colder than Canada. Like I feel colder in Taiwan in the winter than I do in Canada. And that's because Canada has insulation, right? So you're never, even though the temperature outside's cold, you're never really that cold. You get to be inside an insulated home where it's warm. And then you go into your garage and into your car, which is heated. And then you go to work, which is heated. You're not really cold ever in the wintertime in Canada. Whereas here in Taiwan, because there's no insulation anywhere, you're cold everywhere. And humidity seeps the temperature in deeper, if that makes sense. So like it gets into your clothes and into your bones, and it sucks. And I feel way colder here. Even like when you're inside, because there's no insulation, it's just a concrete building. Like you have to wear a jacket inside, like a full winter kit. Maybe not a full winter kit, because a full winter kit in Canada is like, snow pants, snow boots, jacket, toque, gloves, the whole 9 yards. Here, I mean, a jacket will probably do you just fine. But still, let's see who's in the chat. I'm running dual monitors right now, but one monitor is very small, so I'm having a hard time reading this. God, I wish there was a way I could expand this so I can see it better. If only my monitor was higher up. Hello, who's your friend there? Do you watch the China parade? I didn't watch it. I wanted to do a reaction to the parade, the military parade, but I was too late. And so I don't think anyone really cares about that. I don't think Taiwan can compete with that. Canadian friend. God damn it. I gotta do something with this chat. Hang on. Because I'm having a really hard time reading it. I just can't keep it down on my bottom monitor. I apologize. Like, I'm going to change scenes here so you guys can see my screen. And the problem is you guys can see your own chat, but I have to, otherwise I won't be able to read it, which is a shame. But that's okay. It's the only way I can do it. Canadian friend severely regretting leaving Asia. Are you talking about me, or do you have an actual friend? Especially when it's windy and it blows into your clothes. Yeah. I've only been to Montreal. The day I arrived in November, it was minus 14 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's not even that cold. Like, it gets way colder than minus 14. Yeah. So, like, that's a huge difference, just the weather. I feel colder in Taiwan than I ever did in Canada. And the way people do things, the way people feel about things. Like, I was having this conversation with a French guy at the pub, and he we were talking about the difference in your mentality as a Western person, particularly as a European, and it's particularly as a French person. And French Canadians share this culture too, and it's the incredibly high quality standards that they have, that we have, I guess, because I'm kind of French Canadian. Everything in France and Quebec, I would say, or just with French Canadians, and I guess Canadians in general, is that everything must be done exactly the way it should be done, like per specifications. It needs to be done perfectly. I don't have any better way to explain that, but it's really like French guys at Coup. It wasn't Coup, it was some random guy I never met before. But everything is done perfectly. And if it isn't done, you better believe you're going to hear about it, because French people love to complain. It's like a part of their culture. If you want to be friends with a French person or a French Canadian, just complain about something that they also find annoying and you will be friends. They bond over their mutual annoyance over things. And I could probably move the camera around, actually. I'm not really sure. I hope it doesn't like break the connection because my USB thing is a little bit loose. But even things like on my wall, there's like bits of concrete that stick out. I guess because they didn't like, I don't even know what you would call that. You know what I mean? Like where they flatten out the wall, or the edge isn't perfect. Like things like that bother people so much in the West. Whereas here in Taiwan, they have like a chabadois mentality, or like a good enough mentality, or like whatever. Like just, it's very, if it's functional, then it's good enough. And I find it interesting when I watch Western people move to Taiwan and they have to live, excuse me, with these quality standards that are so different to what they're used to, and they end up complaining about it a lot. And I almost feel like they have this attitude of like, this way of life is almost beneath them. And then vice versa, when Taiwanese people move to Canada and they experience our life in Canada, I just wonder their views on it. Copper Newt says, do you prefer the hot or the cold in Taiwan though? I feel like I'm more comfortable with the cold because summer feels like hell to me. I would agree with you. I prefer colder weather over hot weather, which is weird because I live in Taiwan. But I dislike summer because the way I think about it is like, if you're cold, you can do something about it, right? You can wear more clothes or you can exercise, and then you've warmed yourself up. You can do, if you're hot, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Because even if you wear linen clothes or loose fitting clothes or shorts or like this, like a wife beater, you're still hot. You know, like unless you have AC, there's nothing you can do about it. And I hate that. And hot weather makes you sweat and it makes you smell bad and the whole thing, it's the worst. Whereas cold weather, it's just gonna make you shiver, which sucks. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it doesn't like affect other people around you, you know what I mean? The other thing I wanna mention is like, I'm seeing, you know, Jeju Den, Copper Newt, Colin, Happy Quails, people that I see in my chat frequently, and I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys for joining me pretty much every time I start a live stream, even though they're so random and unplanned. You guys are here for it, so thank you. I really appreciate that. It's so cool that you guys are here for so much of the chats. So anyways, with all that being said, I mean, I'm sure I can think of some other differences. Maybe we can talk about them in the chat before we get started here. I've got a few videos of Taiwanese people living in Canada. I thought we could watch together. All the usual suspects here, says Joseph, definitely. Hi, Prazi, what's up? Yeah, I feel like the best way for YouTubers to understand who their core audience is to do live streams. The people that show up consistently are like the ones who, you know, they're the core. And that's like really valuable for us to know that. Yeah, I think also like an over reliance on cars I think this is something in North America typically, not just Canada. But I find that uh, if you are going to live in Canada, you have to have a car. You must have a car. Like it's non-negotiable. I think cities like Toronto, maybe Vancouver, I think they have a subway system. I'm not sure because I've never lived there. But anywhere else, if you don't have a car, I really don't understand how you get around easily enough. Like my hometown, Ottawa, has OC Transpo, which is our public transportation, our bus. Um, but it's not convenient and it takes forever to get anywhere. And it's kind of expensive these days. I'm also curious, by the way, because Copper Newt is a number one fan, which I think means that he comments the most, and then Jeju Den is number two. And I feel like they're like having a battle to see who's gonna come out on top. Let's see, top fans. Oh, it isn't. It's actually Mango Gecko, but they're not in the chat right now. You guys get experience points? This is the first time I've seen this. That is wild. I didn't know that. Um, I don't know if you guys are able to like see who's the number one fans or not, but I can. That's so interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind for I don't know. It's kind of interesting how they give experience points, so they kind of like gamify it. Um, but yeah, we have. Let me see. Oh shit, where did my chat go? God damn it! I hate this. Not what I wanted you to do. I find I'm predominantly a I'm predominantly a PC user, and I use Mac just for work, like just to there we go, just to edit videos and things like that. Fuck me. Um, and so I'm not. I fucking hate the way Mac does stuff sometimes. But yeah, number one is Mango Gecko. Number two is Jeju Den 3000. Number three is Happy Quails. Number four is a Chinese name, Xie Qiao. Yeah, Xie Qiao. And then Rossmore, and then Joseph, and then finally in seven is Lynx. Interesting. I had no idea that they did that. But yeah. Um, yeah, Xie Qiao's the one who said hi. Hi. Appreciate you for streaming even though I have no money to give you. No worries, man. I don't have any money either. It's like the poor people live stream. We've all come together to be poor together. Probably not. I'm sure there's some people who are doing well in life, which I'm happy about. Um, Asia and Europe are so much better at public transportation. Yeah, that's true. So I've heard anyways. Count me in. Most comments in the stream. Mango Gecko is also me. You're lying. That can't be true. That's my at. Really? God damn. Okay. That's so funny. Does Canada have narrow roads? No. If you mean narrow roads by like a British road, like a county road or a country road in England, then no. Because I went to England a few years ago for Christmas with Alan's family, and those roads are narrow. Like I don't even understand how they have any business being two-lane roads, but they are. I mean, there's no lanes. Like they don't print a lane onto the road. It's just like hedges on either side. It's crazy. Canada, I don't think, I'm sure somewhere, it's such a huge country. I'm sure somewhere in Canada has roads that narrow, but for the most part, no, not like England. That's insane. Diane Xie, hi again. Diane Xie has the same picture as Xie Qiao, so I'm guessing it's the same person. They've just changed their name to English. Lord Pito. Are big cities in Taiwan accessible for pedestrians? Mm. Sometimes. I would say that you can get around by walking, but it's often dangerous because the sidewalks are taken over by It's hard to explain. Let me see if I can get. Let me see if I can show you here what I mean. There's kind of two types of sidewalks, three types of sidewalks in Taiwan, and it's kind of it's kind of like I gotta find a specific part of Taiwan to show you. Every time I do a live stream, my internet tanks, so you'll have to pardon me while I find the appropriate road, and then I'll share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's switch over here. Hang on. Here is Google Maps, and this part, god damn it, fucking internet. This is Wenxin Road, which is a major road here in Taiwan. And we have like this kind of sidewalk, which is great and is very rarely obstructed, as you can see. Like this is actually a bike lane. But then there's other parts on the same road, maybe not the same road, I'll have to try and see. There's another kind of sidewalk. I shouldn't have chosen Wenxin because it's too big of a road. So you can walk on this part that you can see on the outside, right? But then on the inside, some roads only have this part. See this interior part? So not every single, but many buildings in Taiwan have this, like, it extends out over the sidewalk, which is great if it's raining, because then you can just walk in here and you don't get wet, right? The problem is that a lot of people park their scooters and motorcycles and then they're in the way, and then shops will erect walls here, or like a kitchen will put their, like if they're cooking outside, they'll put their kitchen stuff there, and then it blocks it. So like you can probably see, I can almost guarantee we'll see something. There'll be something in the way to where you can't walk here anymore, and then you have to come outside, which on a road like this is fine because there's a sidewalk on the outside, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just road, and then you have to walk out onto the road. And then there's parts that don't have any sidewalk, like just sans sidewalk. And then you're left basically walking on the road with all the cars and the scooters and stuff. So let me show you here. This is another random road I just chose. I don't know where it is. There's no sidewalk, but there's still a guy walking here. So sometimes like roads like this, you literally have no choice but to walk onto the road. And then here's kind of what I was talking about obstructing. So, and lots of foreigners and Taiwanese people too find this really annoying. So like, god damn it. It's kind of hard to see, guys, sorry. So like this shop here has put, no, that's just a ladder. Hang on. Doesn't matter. You kind of know what I'm talking about. They'll put something up here and you're not able to walk, and it sucks. But is it accessible? Kind of, but the same way that North Americans are over-reliant on cars, people here in Taiwan are over-reliant on scooters. So you should probably have a scooter. Abelardo Inak, I'm not going to say that right, gave me 10 SAR. What is SAR? I appreciate you. Thank you so much. No super chat, which is a shame. I wish he left. I wish he left a like a message or something I could reply to. Let me see. What is SAR currency? Saudi Riyal? I had no idea anyone watched me from Saudi Arabia. That's crazy. Yeah, wow. Horse and carriage tracks converted to roads. I wonder, like I think around Taipei, definitely, and Central District, Taiwan as well. You know, like they weren't really built with cars in mind because the city's so old. You can see that in a lot of like older European cities as well. Do you have allergies? You've been sniffing a lot in the past few streams. No, I just do that. I don't know why. Yeah. Focus Taiwan called them covered walkways. Yeah, okay, covered walkways. I guess that's what they're called. Just got a car here in Kaohsiung. Down here, parking isn't too bad at all. Yeah, parking in Kaohsiung I find not that bad. I just find it expensive. Like, I think for the average parking space in Taichung anyway is like 3,000 NT plus, which like by North American standards isn't much. But for us, it's quite a lot. Um, it, it, it can get expensive. Um, Are Taiwanese people pissed about the Japanese colonial period? Asked Morphe Sophia. No, not really, not at all. In fact, I find for the most part, Taiwanese people are quite proud of their Japanese history. Um, it's a really interesting difference between the way the Chinese view the Japanese and the way that the Taiwanese view the Japanese. But I would say there's not really any animosity between them. I just made a video that didn't do very well, but I thought it was really interesting. And in that video, I covered or I talked about Taiwanese people really admiring Japan and really looking up to Japan and the reasons why. But yeah, they're not pissed. Is it Rand? Oh, is it South African Rand? It's South African Rand. What am I talking about? Not Saudi. Maybe it's South African Rand, yeah. There are mass reconstructions of sidewalks that don't need it in Taipei at the moment. I had to walk on the road a whole lot the past few months. Are you sure it's sidewalk reconstruction or are they replacing the plumbing, the pipes? Because I know they do that in Taiwan a lot. Tainan scooters, yes, they park on the sidewalks for sure. Happy Quails, where do you park your scooter after you get home? Do you have problems with their batteries going into thermal runaway? No. What's thermal runaway? I don't even know what that is. It's thermal runaway in batteries. Let's see here. Let's see what Google/ChatGPT has to say. Thermal runaway is a battery, and a battery is dangerous, self-sustaining, uncontrolled chain reaction where the excessive heat generation causes internal components to break down, leading to rapid temperature and pressure increases that can result in a fire explosion. What the fuck? Begins when the heat produced by the battery exceeds the ability to dissipate heat in the surroundings. The escalating temperature. Really? But that surely wouldn't happen while you're parked, right? Isn't that something that would happen while you're riding? So what is it essentially, like your battery gets too hot and then it explodes? Is that like the layman's terms of what they light on fire? I've never had a battery catch fire. I've never seen that. I have like underground parking in my building here, and it's cool too. I've never actually seen this, but it's underground parking only for scooters and motorcycles. Like the entranceway to my parking garage is like it's more narrow. Like if you were to extend your arms, like the wingspan of your arms, it's tighter than that. It's really interesting. So I just parked them down there for e-bikes. Oh, no, I don't own an e-bike. And so I don't know. And the way that e-bikes work here in Taiwan is they have replaceable batteries. So let's say like so a Gogoro, for example, this is something I find normal, but you guys maybe have never seen this before. Let's bring this up here. Go into YouTube. I'll try and see if I can find a video of Gogoro scooters. So Gogoro is a Taiwanese company. Well, it started by foreigners.
I just returned from one of the coolest places I have ever visited, where I
So he goes to Taiwan, yada, yada, yada. But I want to show you the part where he has to replace the battery.
If you're wondering how
like your vloggy part,
track mode isn't even,
don't care.
I was led to my table.
That works out, and I'll be able to show you guys some pretty.
The company
here we go. So, also, if one of you could give me an audio check, like if you can hear this video play.
Thousands of battery swap stations and something like 8.
You should be able to. I hope you're able to. So yeah, we have these stands right here that you can see. And all of those green things are batteries, and you just take one out and then you slot it into your scooter and ride away. And then when it dies, you just come back. It's essentially like a petrol station, but for scooters. And then with GoGoRos, you pay a monthly fee. So it's like you have a subscription service to ride your scooter, basically. And I think some people have calculated that it's actually more money than if you were to just use a petrol powered scooter. But yeah, that's essentially how it works. My stupid comments keep disappearing behind this window. Stupid Mac. So anyway, so for one of those batteries to catch fire, I think GoGoRo is responsible for replacing those batteries when they get too old. So I don't think there's a chance where that would happen. Are there any ferry services from Taiwan to Okinawa? Ferry services? I don't think so. But they probably have they have like cruises. You know, you can take a cruise, but I don't know about ferries. Louis Rosman's caught fire while parked. God damn, really? Yeah, I don't like electric things. Maybe one day, but like they're not they just don't have the range. At least with like motorcycles and scooters these days, they don't have the range yet to match a petrol powered bike. So I don't really like use them. I'm not saying they're bad. Like, I'm sure they're fine. I've ridden some of the ones that are like equivalent to a 50cc scooter, like really slow ones. And they're like almost dangerous. They top out at like 55 kilometers an hour. They're really slow, but some of them are quick. You can get bigger ones. You can get like faster ones. It could be the case, but it's happening in places all over the world, and they mostly don't have alternative such temporary walkways when construction is so frustrating. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. He's talking about when they do, if they replace the plumbing under a sidewalk, or if they're replacing the sidewalk itself, they don't offer alternative pathways. They're just like, we'll just go around the construction. So you're just walking on the road with all the traffic and stuff. It's kind of dangerous. There's actually a new ferry from Japan to Geelong starting this month. Really? Wow. Did you ride a GoGoRo? How about the sport version? Would you consider buying one? I've ridden a few GoGoRos. Here in Taiwan, they have what do you call that? Like a ride sharing service where, and they use GoGoRos, and you just like park them in a space, and then you have an app called GoShare. Not a sponsor. They should sponsor me because I love riding. And then you like open the app, and then you like can get on a scooter that's parked near you. And that's the ones I've ridden. I didn't really, it's just weird because when you're riding a scooter or a motorcycle, like when you're in a corner, your throttle control needs to be, I suppose that's only true for like really large displacement bikes. I just don't like the idea of not having the throttle control that I'm used to in a corner. I'm always so scared of having a choppy throttle when you're midway through a corner, because it's not like in a car where if you're in like a rear wheel drive car and you press the gas too hard in a corner, you'll oversteer. But you're in a car, so you can just correct it by counter steering, or just don't pull the, let off the gas, whatever. But on a motorcycle, if you fuck up, there's no saving it. Like, unless you're like a professional rider and you have the reflexes of a cat, you're gone. There's no, there's no second chances. And I find on a electric powered scooter, you just, there's no, the throttle response isn't the same. And I feel like it's a bit more of an on-off switch kind of feeling. You twist the throttle on. There's no gradual feeling to applying throttle. I don't know if that makes any sense. That's just my experience. But the one thing I will say in favor of electric scooters is the acceleration's kind of cool. It's interesting. It's very different to a petrol powered scooter, and that's kind of fun to experience, you know. Oh, Ty says yes, we can all hear the audio. Cheers, thank you for that audio check. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's great. That way they can monitor the condition of the cells to prevent fires. Yeah, I'm sure they have. I'm sure that's what those docking stations do actually too. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure. But like these docking stations that you can see here, I bet you they have like Gogoro engineers that can go in and see like the status. Because these batteries don't last forever, right? They have to be disposed with once they're like truly done. And I wonder if they have like some kind of central computer or something that tells them the health of each battery. Yeah. And then that way they don't have Gogoros fucking exploding everywhere, you know what I mean? I'd be so interested to know how that works. I wish... the fuck? God damn it, Mac. Thank you. I wish Gogoro or GoShare would sponsor me. I would love to learn about that, like genuinely how that works. I almost got hit by a forklift because of the construction, by the way. You know what's terrifying about forklifts in Taiwan is sometimes they'll park their forklifts. The forklift itself is off the road, yeah? But the forks, the actual prongs, I don't know what you call those, are still on the road. And when you're riding, those forks are like completely invisible to you. And I've seen so many videos of people hitting a forklift with the forks down and they go ass over tits, you know, once they hit the forks. But then I've also seen them park the forklifts with the forklifts up, and pardon for the graphic description, but people get like decapitated by these things. It happens way more frequently than you'd think. I've seen it myself and like damn near hit the forklift forks because some idiot like parked the forklift forgetting or not caring that the forks were still covering the road, if that makes sense. I think I'm making sense. It's ridiculous. But yeah. Tokyo Sam in the chat, my boy. I always look forward to Sam's live streams because Sam is really good at live streaming. He's had years of practice. Did my boy Tokyo? What is going on? Stop playing that video. Tokyo Sam. Sam released a video walking around Okinawa. Sam's in Okinawa. I didn't even. He's so close to Taiwan. That piece of shit came so close to Taiwan and then didn't visit me. Mother liquor. Oh, you didn't do a live stream today. I knew it. Sam, you usually do live streams on Sundays, and I look forward to them. I like to join them, and he wasn't on today. What a sin. They don't have the range to match. Probably talking about all his ex-girlfriends. Sam has met an ex-girlfriend of mine. Me and Sam go way back. Yeah, I wonder why didn't you do a live stream, Sam? Sam's live streams are great, man. He's way better at it than I am. Electric motor torque is way too fast. Yeah, I don't mind that's got. Yeah, okay. I do agree with what you're saying. I visited Taiwan early this year, and I love the country. Sweet man, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I understand what you're saying about the throttle response. I used to ride a Suzuki GS650. Oh yeah, those are pretty cool. I've always wanted to try one. Sounds like a forklift nightmare, definitely. Cobain, my buddy's in the chat. I work in construction in both the US and Taiwan. Gotta say, Taiwanese workers act like safety means nothing to them, says Wong. Why would you ever work in construction in Taiwan if you could do the same in the US? Because construction workers in Taiwan get paid nothing. And like you said, the safety standards are next to non-existent in Taiwan for construction workers. I always feel so bad for them. It'll be like 40 degrees outside in the Taiwanese hot sun, and they're out there like building stuff. It's insane. How about the e-bike and Akira? Was the bike in Akira an e-bike? Because that is a badass. I love that. Everyone's met your ex, Prozzy. Yeah, we're not going to talk about her. Come on now. Don't get me sued. The Average Joe, how's the Rebel? Love it. Yeah, the Rebel's great. Has given me no problems. I installed saddlebags on it a few weeks ago, and that makes it really convenient. Because before, like, I could carry nothing unless I stuck it on a backpack. And next, I kind of want to change the seat because I want to do long distance trips on it. That's also why I put saddlebags on there. But I want to find a seat that's more comfortable because the stock seat in a Honda Rebel's fine for like an hour, right? Like for city driving, which is what the bike is built for, it's fine. Anything longer than an hour, like you're gonna fucking suffer. I've been watching YouTube videos since Serpent Zeta and Sea Milk still in mainland. Oh, cheers, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a long time. Yeah. He's going back to work in the U.S. Yeah, I figured. You're a construction man, construction worker, dude. Like, construction workers in North America anyways get paid, like, not a lot of money, but, like, it's pretty not bad. You know, I got a couple buddies in construction back home in Canada, and they do pretty well, you know? And then also the good thing about working construction too is there's like a pretty good career ladder. Because once you get enough years in the business, like you can just start your own construction firm. You know, maybe not a construction firm, but like a construction company. You know what I mean? And you could do pretty well. I had a buddy, like one of my best buddies growing up in construction, and I asked him last time I was home why he hasn't started his own business yet, because he's been doing it since we were like, God, I don't know. His dad was in the business, so he's been doing it since we were like 16, you know, and now we're 30. How old am I? 4. So he's been in the business a long, long time. And he was saying, like, at the business he works at, they had these like double paned windows that they were going to install in a big building, and it was something like I want to say he said like $250,000 worth of windows that they had stored. And then something happened to the windows. I can't remember if someone double ordered them. Like someone in the accounting made a mistake of double ordering the windows, so they had twice as many. And that's just like, well, there's $500,000 gone, you know, because I guess the windows were ordered in a way that could only be put on this one particular building. So it's not like they could use the double. I can't remember exactly what the story was. It was something like that. Or maybe someone like broke the windows or something and they had to order 2. But he was like, I just couldn't deal with the stress of having like just writing off $500,000 in business expenses, you know, like I'd much rather work for the company and get my check and my retirement and everything. And that made a lot of sense to me. I can respect that. But my point being is at least there's like a career ladder, you know, like I chose teaching as a career, which was stupid. There's no, you know, I can't do anything else with that except teach. Work in semiconductor factories. Really? Fuck, you must get paid. What? So you're working in construction and they must pay the construction workers that do semiconductors pretty fucking well. I wonder if they make you sign NDs, you know, non-disclosure agreements, because you're working in highly sensitive fields. You know what I mean? Like in tech. Make sure you do everything right with immigration or they'll deport you. Yeah. What games are you playing recently? I've been back into Cyberpunk. I just bought Phantom Liberty. I played Cyberpunk on release. Was really disappointed. And now I'm playing it again. Don't criticize the US government, by the way. Cool to work in semiconductor factory construction. That is cool. Yeah, Global Cycling Network talks a lot about the Taiwan KOM. Is that a thing? I have no idea what the Global Cycling Network is, and I have no idea what the KOM is either. So you're asking the wrong person. I apologize. Don't they get paid a lot in North America for working high-risk jobs like construction? They can't. Yeah, if it's high-risk construction, they'll probably get a danger pay. I had to sign NDAs. Oh shit. Really? Okay, well, I don't want to ask any questions, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble. but not serious since we don't really know the critical infos. Yeah, cyberpunk mobility running. I feel like this conversation's only interesting to me in Copper Newt, but I built a what? Like a melee, a blunt weapon melee, so I can activate like my berserk thing. So I basically just walk in with a baton and beat people over the head with it. It's so overpowered. I forgot how easy Cyberpunk is. I should have played it on a harder difficulty. But that's the build I'm doing, and it's fun. But yeah. Oh God, Jeju Den, Chinese or Taiwanese women, which is better? Let's start. Let's go. Fuck, Jesus. I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, 30 minutes. Hang on, I'm... This is fucking stupid. You should ignore this. I'm just trying this. I've never done this. So, I've started a goal where Taiwanese women are better after 5 super chats. So yeah, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. Chinese women, in my opinion, in my anecdotal experience, I am not stating this as scripture. I'm not stating this as fact. Okay. It's just my opinion. I found Chinese women to be a lot more traditional than Taiwanese women. Chinese people in general are under a lot more pressure to get married and have children than Taiwanese people are. And so when you're in a relationship with a Taiwanese girl, it is with the expressed condition that you will marry her eventually, which you could make the argument that, of course, that's what every single relationship is like. Like, you shouldn't, I suppose it to be unfair to go into a relationship like with the possibility that you might break up one day, right? Because then you've already got one foot out the door. But anyways, and so they're more traditional, and so they are more likely to take on more traditional gender roles within the household. And if that's something you prefer, then you might prefer Chinese women. However, you might prefer a woman with more of an individual, someone with more of an idea of what they want in life for themselves, if that makes sense. Something with their own life, maybe their own hobbies. I'm not saying that Chinese women have no hobbies or anything like that, but their sole purpose, their sole, what would you say? Their number one priority is like family. And so they won't, burden's the wrong word. They won't talk to you about their hobbies as much as you might think. It's hard to explain. But you might want to, if you want someone who's more, yeah, I don't know how to explain it other than if you want someone who's more of an individual, then you might prefer Taiwanese women. But yeah, that's my goal. 5 super chats and Taiwanese women are better. I'm using politics to get money. How fucking sad is that? Just ignore that. That's ridiculous. I don't know why I did that. I've never done these goals before, and I kind of wanted to see if it works, because I tried it on my last stream and it didn't work, so you could ignore it if you want. Fuck it. I was just in service contracts, technical support, and inside sales. How the hell do people get those jobs, dude? Like, how do you know those jobs exist, I have this conversation growing up a lot about job prospects. No one talked to me about, like, what's an engineer? What is someone in, like, corporate law does, you know. Like my father was he still is a very quiet man, and he never told me about his work. So like to this day, I couldn't tell you what he did for work. And so I feel like when I left high school and went into university, because that's kind of the pivotal moment in your life where you kind of have to choose your career, or at least your first career, which is ridiculous because like who knows what they want at 18. I had no idea like what to study because I didn't and still don't understand what the fuck people do. Like my buddy Kiwi, who's one of my best friends, moved to Japan to become a project manager. And it just pissed me off. Because I was like, what the fuck is a project manager? What is that? What the hell are you doing? And they can never explain it. It's so annoying. And then so when someone says like, you know, what did that guy say? He's in something, service contracts, technical support for inside sales. I'm like, that you may as well be speaking like Spanish, because I don't have any idea what that means. Did you ever ride Winston's Virago? Crazy that you can get a new one for like 5K. Winston has a Virago? I don't remember him having one. I don't think I ever rode Winston's bikes. I bought a few scooters off him back in the day, but I don't think I rode his. I bought 2 scooters off him, I think. Emilia Prazi. Oh, what's up? She works in the school I go to where I study Chinese. Do you think there's more potholes in Taichung than other cities in Taiwan? It seems to me that there are more potholes in Taichung than in Tainan. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I haven't really noticed it as much. Like, there's obviously a difference between city roads and rural roads. But I find that the Taiwanese are very good at maintaining their roads. So I don't notice a difference between the cities. And I could be wrong. We'll get into some videos of Taiwanese people exploring Canada in a minute. It's just, I really like to pay attention to the chat and what you guys have to say, and so I get really sidetracked, and I apologize. I hope there's no one's, watching the stream patiently waiting for me to watch the videos. That would suck. The unexpected thing they asked us to sign was a claim to own any patents, etc., that we established during employment with them. Asked us to sign. Was their claim to own any patent? So you make the thing, they patent it, and they own it? It's interesting. I don't even know if that's a good or a bad thing, because I've never worked in the business. And I would need time to think about how, like, that's crazy, though. But are Taiwanese women or Taiwanese fried chicken better? Shit, man, that's a good question. Taiwanese fried chicken's fucking good. The algorithm let me see this broadcast. Oh, what's up? Well, I'm glad you're with me, dude. Fried chicken's better. Fellas, I think that's time for a poll. It's better. God damn it. Taiwanese women or Taiwanese fried chicken. Let's start this poll, baby. Hell yeah. Is it gay if we all choose fried chicken? I think not, but I'm curious. That's hilarious. Taiwanese think individually. Yeah, they do. Oh, Kenichi, what's up? Long time no see, my dude. Sounds like your dad works for a secret service, man. My dad did kind of. My dad was in the military, and during the Cold War, he worked in a place called Alert. I'll show you where that is in a minute. So he worked in signals, which is essentially, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys, to be honest. He basically spied on the Russians. They would listen in on the Russian comms. So let's like hop over to Canada real quick. We'll cross the Pacific Ocean. Pardon my internet again. I get free internet in my house, so I'm gonna have to zoom out because Canada's really big. So I'm from I grew up here in Ottawa, which is right here. Don't know if you guys see. That's the capital of Canada. And my dad worked in You think I'm joking. I'm fucking not. We're going to keep going north, keep going north, keep going north, keep going. Oh shit, I got to zoom out more. Where is it? It's a place called Alert, Northwest Territories. There it is, found it. Right here. Bingo. So this was a military base, and then it became a weather station. And I think now it's a military base again. I could be wrong. But that's where it is. I never went there. It's very close to the North Pole. It's the kind of place where if you take your glove off for like 10 seconds, you lose your hand because it's so cold. And it's the, yeah, he was deployed there. So like me and my family never had to go there. It was just him, and he would go for like 6 months and then come back. Yeah, Canadian Forces. God damn it. Sorry guys, my internet's not behaving. Yeah, it looks like this. And he worked there in the 80s and the 90s in signals. And so it was kind of confidential, I guess. Like, I don't think he was able to talk about it, which may be why he didn't tell me about it. I'm not sure. It's a pretty, interesting job. And then, who cares what my dad did for a living? I don't know. And then he worked for, I want to say IBM, and then the global recession hit in '08, so he worked for RIM, which is the company that makes Blackberries, and then he worked in IT support for Linux. So yeah, my dad's a computer guy, and I think he ran support for people who were running Linux-based systems, and then now he's retired, and that's what he did. But as far as like actually what he did day to day, I really don't know. Like, he was very, he's a very private person, so he wouldn't talk to me about these things. He wouldn't talk to me about like religion or his job or salaries or anything like that. I have no idea how much money he made. Which is fair. I mean, that's like, I think, normal for most Western people. We don't really talk about salaries. But he was just that kind of guy. And I think maybe some of you guys that are watching maybe have parents who are in the military. I'm sure it's similar, Is that an alien behind you? I'm behind on the chat a little bit. Yeah. This is Gay Gary. A Taiwanese person gave it to me. They won it at a Taiwanese night market, and I asked her if she named it, and she named it Gay Gary. Don't ask me why, because I couldn't tell you, but he looks like a Gay Gary to me. So that's my little homie who sits next to me when I work. I feel Japan is the best road quality, followed closely by Taiwan. Just the people on the roads are crazy. Yeah, totally, for sure. Ain't that sea milk? Yeah, it's not sea milk, it's Gay Gary. Taiwanese women who like fried chicken. Yeah. Are you into Warhammer? Been thinking about getting into the books lately? No, I'm not. Topher, I think, is into Warhammer. So I might get into it. Is it Warhammer he's into or something else? I can't remember. But it sounds interesting. Wong called it, yeah. For fuck's sakes, Alert must be a crazy place. It's interesting. I mean, there's nothing there, right? What balls are going to freeze there? Yeah. Sounds like Montreal cold. It's way colder than Montreal. It's way further north. Like we're talking North Pole. Didn't he make a lot of money being stationed there? Why do it? No, I don't know how much money he made, but the military in the 90s were not paid particularly all that well back then. So far as I understand, feel free, I could be wrong. Um, so, yeah, and why he did it, I don't know. But he's always, he, I don't know. When you're in the military in Canada, and I think it's the same for the US, if you do 20 years in the military, you can retire. So what a lot of guys do is they'll get a skill, you know, like they won't work in infantry. They'll do like something like what my dad did, and they'll gain that skill, and then they do their 20 years. They retire. They get another job in the same field but outside the military, and then they double dip into their retirement. So I think that's probably why I did it, at least for that so long. We learned about jobs from newspaper ads and employment agencies, and they weren't international job listings. Yeah. Fact, Taiwan is 50% richer than Japan. Wouldn't that be worth a video? Yeah, might be, actually. You know, Taiwan's 50% richer than Japan, but you wouldn't know by fucking looking at it. Like, they certainly don't put it into... they certainly don't put that money into like public infrastructure beauty standards, if that's even worth putting the money into it. You don't get a choice where they send you, they just send you. I don't know. I wonder if my dad did have a choice in going to Alert. That would be interesting to know. But yeah, that's Alert. That's what my dad did. Really interesting stuff. And actually, my leather jacket that I often wear, it's in my closet, is from Alert, from I think his first tour here. It's from 1980, actually. Love that jacket. It's a great jacket, really thick leather, really high quality. I've been having a hard time finding leather conditioner to take care of it, so it's kind of starting to deteriorate. Because it's 45 years old. And I have it in here in Taiwan, which is kind of dumb because Taiwan's really humid. And anything that's made of leather will just disintegrate in high humidity. It immediately turns to mold. It's terrible. And I really want to take good care of that jacket because it is a great fucking jacket. Let's have a look at this poll. Which is better? We voted Taiwanese fried chicken. That's hilarious. Yeah, Taiwanese women ain't got nothing on Taiwanese fried chicken. I wish it showed me how many people voted. 29 votes. That's great. Let's end that poll. 59% said Taiwanese fried chicken. Hell yeah, boys. It looks rotten. Yeah, totally. We need more artistic education here in Taiwan instead of only semiconductor related. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, it's hard too because Taiwan doesn't have a traditional architectural style that they can fall back on, right? I mean, sure, they can erect new Japanese buildings, and that's cool, but it's not Taiwanese. Or they could erect Chinese style buildings, and that would look really cool, but well, that's not Taiwanese either. So they have to maybe come up with their own unique style. But that just doesn't really make sense in the modern era. I remember I watched a video about why we don't build beautiful buildings anymore. Across the world, by the way, not just in Taiwan. And I think the video's conclusion was that because everyone's driving cars, we aren't looking at the buildings anymore. Whereas back in the day before cars, life was slowed down quite a bit. You know, you'd be walking from place to place or taking a carriage from place to place. And so you had time to actually like appreciate the aesthetic of a building. And so people would go through the extra cost of making their building look a lot more prestigious and beautiful. You know, like if you think about it, like if it's your business, you want your business to be well represented. so that when people walk by and see your building, it looks really beautiful. And so you're going to spend the money to make it look better. But now that we're all in cars, we don't even look at the building anymore. It's just purely for just it's more about practicality now in modern eras. So I don't know. And then you'd also have to question, like, is it worth Taiwan spending the ridiculous amount of money that they make from semiconductors on things like making the country look more aesthetically pleasing, you know? So pants and jackets here are impossible for most of the year. Keep your jacket somewhere safe, man. Yeah, I keep it in my closet. It's not really all that safe, but once I get some leather conditioner, I'll take care of it. Emily voted for Taiwanese fried chicken. Yeah, a lot of us did, dude. Fried chicken's amazing. And you're a woman, so that kind of makes sense. Um, I agree. We should start making buildings prettier. Yeah. I mean, they're not like that bad. Like, if you look at, let's compare, right? Like, let's look at, let's see. Let's go to my hometown, okay? Just because it's not like my country does much better when building new stuff, okay? So I grew up in Ottawa. Let me get another Google Maps up here for Taiwan. But we'll look at my hometown first. So this is Ottawa, where I grew up. This part, so you can see the river in the middle. Anything south of the river is Ontario. Anything north of the river is Quebec, the French-speaking part of Canada. Bet you didn't know about that. You know, because everyone cares. And I grew up in the east end of Ottawa. This place is called Orleans. And Orleans is growing very fast. It's pretty crazy. And this road here is called Innis. And Innis, when I was like in high school, really started to blow up. Is it Innis? Do I have that wrong? No, it is Innis. Okay. It started really building up around here when I was in high school. Like all this is such a fucking boomer thing to say, but all this south of Innis Road was forests. Like it was just like swamp, you know? And now it's like whole neighborhoods. But if we drop ourselves into this little neighborhood here, this isn't what I call aesthetically pleasing. You know, cookie cutter housing. It's not bad, but I wouldn't call it like beautiful. There's Trim Road where, I wanted to find like these new fucking strip malls that we build now. I hate them. Like this, you know, like this is just the most, like, this is a new building. Like, is that aesthetically pleasing, Canada? You know? Or this type of shit is really popular. We call these strip malls. We don't have these in Taiwan. I don't think. But these are super popular in Canada these days. And I find them fucking so ugly. Like, they didn't even try. And this is the kind of thing that we build now. And it looks terrible. So this is like what Canada looks like, you know? It's not really all that great looking. The other thing that shocks me about Canada, doesn't really show up on this too well, is I feel like when I leave Taiwan and I go back home, it feels like life has had the contrast turned up. Like, the sky is so fucking blue, and the grass and the trees are so fucking green. It's like crazy to me. Whereas like here in Taiwan, everything, the contrast is like lowered. Like the sky is not that blue. The you know the yeah, I don't really know how to explain it other than that. the trees are not that green, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, here's Taiwan. Okay, this is kind of what Taiwan looks like. I've just dropped myself in front of a school. My apologies. And these are kind of what newer-ish buildings look like. And they've got kind of a, I would say, a European vibe to it, you know? And it looks nice, but this house here would cost millions of dollars. It would cost millions of dollars. Um, I apologize for having the chat up on the screen. I can't see it otherwise. Um, yeah, millions of dollars, you know? And so which one's more aesthetically pleasing? Like in some cases, you could say Taiwan looks better, you know? Um, so, but oh, Jesus Christ. So I suppose it's subjective. Um, but yeah. How about just buy a Karcher and start a power washing campaign? Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that would make a lot of money, or if Taiwanese people wouldn't even bother to clean the outside of their houses. Uh, yeah, average Joe's got to go buy. See ya, Joe. Popeyes is mid, but not bad. Your local night market would beat it. Yeah. The HOA. Is HOA a thing in Canada? Because I feel like those cookie cutter houses with the same color, same fence are like a wet dream to them. I think those houses maybe are new and that's why. They're all built by the same company. But yeah. And then also if we compare, let's compare the older parts, right? So that was kind of a newerish part. Let's head to Central District, Taichung. Central District, Taichung's really cool. I really like this area. It's got a lot of Japanese colonial buildings. Not this. That's uglier than sin. I'm sure we'll see a few. This one's kind of one of them. I'll find one. Hang on. Central District can look very ugly, don't get me wrong, but there's some that look really nice. This is Taichung's second market. Very old building, kind of cool looking. Hang on. There's better ones. I just gotta find them. God damn it. I'm cherry picking a little bit. Ah, man. Let's Asian Square. I'm not in Central District very often, so I'm not familiar. I'm just picking random places. God damn it. Okay, here's kind of one. So this would be like a Japanese building. This is a colonial building, I'm quite sure. This building here. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly confident that it is. And these are kind of scattered around Central District, and they look okay. And if we compare that to the old part of Canada, or Ottawa, pardon me, which would be downtown Ottawa, there's some really beautiful houses down here that in fairness cost millions. Let's go down what's not too far. McLaren kind of has some nice houses, but I also think it's full of apartments these days. Yeah, a lot of apartments. So this would be like maybe like a 250-year-old house. These look great. These kind of Victorian houses, you know. These are millions and millions and millions of dollars, but I do find them really beautiful. And then if we compare it to old Taiwan, Taichung, yeah, I don't know what you guys think looks better. You know, and I would say that these buildings are probably similar in age. You know, maybe 100 years old for some of the older buildings here in Taichung. For the old ones, I mean, these buildings here, this one probably built in like 1980s, and it looks terrible. But that's par for the course here in Taiwan. You know, like a house built in Taiwan in the 80s looks terrible and is old, but a house built in Canada in the 80s is like still kind of a new house. But yeah. Oh shit, got a super chat. Yes, Taiwanese women's better. Cheers, thank you so much. There we go. We got one. Oh fuck, we only have 1minute and 12 left, and I've got one super chat for Taiwanese women are better. God damn. Oh well, I guess Chinese women are better. See what I did to you there, guys? See what I did? I'm guilt tripping you into it. A lot of the newish buildings in Taiwan look like they were all built by the same country. Anyone else notice this? What do you mean by the same country? But yeah. Okay, so anyways, the point of this video was to compare not compare. I wanted to. I thought it'd be really interesting to see Taiwanese people living in Canada. So I found a few videos, and I thought maybe I could watch them with you guys if you want. Oh Jesus, Soul Life, desperately trying to hit the goal with 8 seconds left. Hell yeah! God damn it! I should have extended the time. I got 2 super chats for the Taiwanese women are better. Oh well, that's okay. 100 years old building are constructed antique in Taiwan. You won't find many. Yeah, that's true. You won't find many. But anyways, yeah, I've got these videos of Taiwanese people living in Canada. I thought it was kind of cool. If you guys wanted to, we'll talk about it if you guys want. I guess Sam left the chat. That's a shame, right when I was talking about him. Let's get the screen back up, fellas. There we go. Let's get OBS down here. Chat. That's not the chat. Where the hell's the chat? Sorry, guys. There it is. There it is. There it is. Oh, Kenichi coming through. Taiwanese women are better. Previous chat should have said company, not country. Oh. They're built by the same company. Yeah, they probably are built by the same company. Same thing in Canada, really. You know, a lot of them are built by the same ones. There we go. 3 super chats out of 5. Appreciate you. I hope Kenichi can come back to Taichung for us to hang out. What am I missing here? Oh, that's right. I wanted to make sure that this looks okay. I'm going to move myself over so that you guys can get a better view of the videos. So this guy, this is cool as hell. Okay. This guy is a truck driver in Canada, but he's Taiwanese, which I found so cool. I found that so fascinating. I think I would have liked to be a truck driver because I love driving. I'm not sure if I would still like to drive if I have to do it all the time, but what a cool job. And yeah, we'll be back soon, bro. Oh, cheers, Ken. Yeah. Yes, let's watch them, says Happy Quails. All right, let's just get into it. But yeah, truck driver in Canada. What a cool job.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. 大家好，欢迎回到我的频道 Eric Stone Trucker。
An army surplus warehouse.
我是 Eric。这次任务是要前往爱达荷的一处仓库送货，并在进入美国之前，先到隔壁萨省提货。行驶距离会超过2200公里，并
That's hilarious. So he's going to Idaho, but he has to stop in fucking Saskatchewan. Which, if you can see here, this in Chinese says 18 xiaoshi, so this is 18 hours, and so 19 hours it's going to take him to drive from where he is in, looks like Manitoba, all the way to Saskatchewan and then down to Idaho. That's wild. He's starting actually. He's starting in. I should just keep Google Maps open, shouldn't I? Because I keep going back to it. But I love looking at Google Maps. My sister, my big sister, is a teacher as well. And her husband is an RCMP officer. Okay, he's probably starting in Winnipeg then. Because that looks like where it is here on his map. Oh, no, it says, yeah. Anyways, her husband got stationed in 2 places in Manitoba. It's Killarney, which is on the U.S. border, and Peguis, which is far away. It's a First Nations reserve, but I guess he's starting in Winnipeg. I've been to Manitoba. It's all right.
并且先跨过一个时区以及美国和加拿大的边境。如果是第一次观看 Eric Stone Trucker 频道影片的观众，我是一位来自台湾的卡友，频道专注于分享在加拿大和美国驾驶跨境长途卡车的生活点滴。
That's fucking awesome. Sharing his life on the road in North America as a Taiwanese truck driver. That is fucking cool. I would love to meet this dude.
在这里可以看到卡车司机的工作日常，加拿大和美国公路、城市以及小镇的人文风景，还有平凡人移民海外的真实生活情况。
Cool.
希望能够让大家更了解这份网红职业，并和我一起体验北美的卡车文化。
This right here, this is life in Canada. If any of you are interested in moving to Canada, this is what it is. This shot right here is 90% of your life in Canada. Just wiping snow and ice off of shit. That's life.
欢迎订阅并开启小铃铛，这样才不会错过我们最新上映的影片哦。这一次一样从我在加拿大的家乡温尼伯
From my
出
hometown,
发。
I was right. So he's from Winnipeg. Well, he's from Taiwan, but he's like starting in Winnipeg. And yeah, this is what most of Canada looks like. Just fucking, especially Manitoba, just flat shittiness.
先来听一下油水了。
I wonder. Oh, okay. Any guesses in the chat? How much this is going to cost them to fill up? Diesel tanks. I guess these trucks have 2 tanks probably, and then probably a reserve tank. I wonder how much this is going to cost. Also, these buildings back here, I don't know if you can see them in behind the gas station, are also very common sightings. I find these buildings uglier than shit too.
先预告一下，这次的任务路程总长度将突破8500公里，
God damn.
大约5281
Did he say how much that will cost?
也是我个人单次任务长度的新纪录。
There are some good U.S. truck drivers channels I would tell you about. That would be cool. I just find it interesting how this guy's
关
Taiwanese.
系，这次任务将被分成上、中、下3级。
I wish it told me how much.
上级如同
I wish it told me how
先
much
前画面看到的，
it cost him to fill up. Because I imagine that must have cost a fucking fortune. Oh no way, Yellowstone!
抵达我们在美国的第一个卸货点爱达荷。除了邀请大家一起上车体验看看，为什么老司机圈子里都说春天才是卡车司机真正的冬天？除此之外，也顺道聊聊为什么我要换工作。在这之前，要聊一下为什么当初选加拿大没选美国。
Oh shit, fellas. Why he chose the US and not Canada. Time for it. Let's see. 550 USD with discount in the US, that is 800 Canadian. There's some good US truck drivers. Oh, you saying for the cost of the petrol? It's time for a poll, fellas. Would you love sleeping on your truck, though? Dude, I bet you the inside of those fucking trucks are bigger than my goddamn apartment. So I think I'd probably be fine. So he's going to explain why he chose Canada over the US. Time to start my fucking divisive poll. Have at it, fellas.
说实在的， 我自己也不是一开始就非加拿大不可，但是后来冷静想一想，移民是人生大事嘛，还是要选一个
That's
相
a
对
cool fucking truck. That is a fucking cool truck. That is so cool. That's awesome.
还是要选一个相对比较稳定的。加拿大这个大家既熟悉又陌生的国家，好多事跟登陆之前知道的都不一样。就像这台皮卡要价超过300万台币，比
The pickup truck cost $3 million? Double the base Porsche of a Porsche. Is he talking about the truck that he... Did he buy his own
都
truck?
不一样。就像这台皮卡要价超
Because I think truckers have a choice, right? They can buy their own truck or they can go and use the company's truck. If he bought, costs over 3 million NT. Okay. 3 million NTD to USD. Is 98,000 US. That doesn't seem like a lot for a truck. Doesn't it? Doesn't it usually cost a lot? Whoops, sorry, did not mean to do that. Fucking goddamn it, Mac. I hate Mac. I hate Mac. Whatever. It depends on how many tanks they have and if they're counting a full tank. Yeah. Do you use the Taichung MRT often? No, I never use the MRT. It's one line and it goes nowhere I need to, so I never use it. Happy Quail's right. Why wouldn't you choose Canada over the US? I mean, they made Steven Crowder and JBP, but still. Well, there's lots of reasons why people would choose the US. I'm not the type of Canadian that hates the US, by the way. I know a lot of people in Canada are. I don't hate the US. As long as the big orange is at the government, I lean for Canada. Okay. I'm not saying anything when I say that. I tend to look at Canadian politics with only Canada in mind. When I vote, what's most important to me is what I think that party can do for Canadians. So I try to think of how they, all I'm saying basically is that Trump played little role in my vote, if that makes sense. But I'm not judging you if he played a big role in your vote.
超过300万台币，比保时捷起跳价贵2倍。加拿大人在想什么？
What are
如果没来
Oh,
过加
that
拿
pickup
大，
truck. Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. I see. I didn't watch. That's 150,000 Canadian. I fucking believe it.
如果没来过加拿大，可能会觉得这里就是一个先进、文明、自由的高冷国家
Modern。civil.
但是，一落地可能会发现，这个国家怎么哪里都怪怪的。
What?
明明超先进，看起来却很乡下。被说有钱的不得了，但为什么看不太出来？
What? That's what I
教
said
育
about
品质高
Taiwan. Wait a minute. You said it's super developed, but you wouldn't be able to tell. That's
但连
hilarious.
手机都常常收不到讯号。
Your phone can't get signal half the time. Too true, friend. Too true.
全世界癌症治疗第一，
Best cancer
却
treatment
路
in the
比
world,
很多
but more。dear
这到
than
底是什么
people.
样的国
What
家？
kind of
今天
country?
就用一个普通台湾人的视角，好好来介绍这个我现在生活的地方——加拿大。
Welcome to Catskill. Is this your first weigh or reweigh?
First weight,
Pounds or kilograms?
pounds.
Thank you for using Catskill. Please pull ahead and come and get your ticket.
加拿大是世界第2大的国家，面积是台湾的275倍，横跨
That's it?
6个时区，比中国还宽。但人口呢，才3800万，台湾都有2300万人了。这代表什么呢？ 代表在加拿大走10公里都不一定会看到一间便利商店。
That's the most Taiwanese thing he could have ever said. You can walk 10 kilometers and never see a convenience store, which is true, but I don't, you know, you could walk 10 kilometers and not see a person, let alone a convenience store. But I love how he's so Taiwanese that he uses convenience stores as like you know, measures. Better healthcare is a big one. It's not. The Canadian healthcare system is better in the sense that everyone can have it. But if you have a job in the US and that job offers benefits, which means you get health insurance, then I would rather be taken care of in America because their healthcare professionals are paid more than ours. I don't have to wait as long. I can get a private doctor easily, a family doctor easily, and none of that is true about Canada. So it depends on what you mean by the healthcare is a big one. My car just died, and getting a new one is ridiculously expensive. Yeah, in Taiwan, they're stupidly expensive.
加拿大人口密度只有每平方公里
4
4
people
人，
for square
台湾
kilometer.
则是每平方公里667人，直接差了160倍。这边真的是鹿比人多，熊比警察多。加拿大其实很富有，人均 GDP 差不多台湾的1.6倍，生活水平高，医疗教育免费，基础建设完善。但奇妙的是，越有钱的人，车越大越高，房子越远越偏僻。
That's a good point. He's saying like rich people just get bigger trucks, but their houses go into the countryside.
穿的也越随便。相较于台湾越有钱的人，车子越低越小。
Alright. Well, you have to understand, like, people in Canada have to buy pickup trucks a lot of the times because when you live in this kind of environment, you know, a sports car is not really going to cut it. You know, you're going to need something like, again, if you're living rural, and I understand he's in like Montana or whatever, but it's like, it's the same kind of deal, right? You need something that has some off-road capabilities or can at least get itself out of a snowbank. Because if you live in Canada and you drive a car, you will crash into a snowbank. Like, that is a guarantee. It happens to everyone. And you'd much rather have something like a truck or something that's taller, you know, like suspension-wise, than something that's really low.
房子
So
越
it's
接近
almost
市
a
中心，
necessity.
穿着多半越讲究。
I always find when I'm driving on roads like these, it gives me like a vertigo.
稍等者哦，我先出国，入去美国继续讲。
Got U.S. Customs. Look at this border. It's the saddest looking border ever. But then again, I guess it's a border specifically for trucks, right? It's not going to be a...
Morning. Idaho. Whole alt flower. Yeah.
Whole oat flour. That has to be so hard to say for a Taiwanese person.
No, only myself.
His English is
Only
good.
homemade food. Yeah.
His English is really good. Obviously, he lives in
I
Canada.
think this time we need to get a new one. Yeah.
Alrighty. You know where to park?
I don't know. It's my first time here.
Okay. Drive past those two buildings.
Yeah.
Just park up there and then you walk back to this building, okay?
Okay, no problem. Thank you. See you in the office.
你要办这爱那里哦。
It's pretty friendly interaction. His English is really good, which makes sense.
这边顺便回答比较多观众在留
Yeah,
言
this
区
is
的
the part I
提
wanted to
问
get into. Let's get some
学英文
answers.
好难，怎么办？比方说右前方这间银行的名字 Stockman Bank， 不需要去硬背什么库存人银行， 记得在世界最大卡车休息站那集，我们在停车场介绍过的一种板架，是在运送 livestock 牲口的马。还没有看过的观众，可以在影片过后回去频道首页观赏。大家有没有好奇过，为什么牲口的英文要这么饶舌
Livestock
？Live 是活的 ，stock 是库存，就是我们去店里面买东西会问店员还没有库存的那个 stock。那为什么要叫活的库存？因为这跟语言没有关系，而是跟历史有关。在没有货币的时代，大家依靠以物易物，但人类已经有了语言。而早期农牧业时代，牛羊马等牲口就是交易的硬资产。
Okay, this is like livestock stuff I don't
资
care.
产的意思。
Oh, this is fucking cool.
所以活的
The
库存
inside of his truck. The inside of his truck is fucking cool. I want to watch this. I don't want to avoid the chat. Hang on. I know you don't drink, but how do you enjoy Beihai? Beihai. Random question. Good for the algorithm. But do you enjoy? I don't even know what that is. Looks cold as fuck. They're trying to pass Bill H.R. 1319. Congress went on to recess to avoid an Epstein vote, but they came back to vote. Yeah, healthcare is short-lived. I don't know anything about that bill. Not Cybertruck then.
所以 stock 不只有库存，同时也有资产的意
He's
思。
got. Is that inside his truck?
所以
Am I
活
seeing
的
this
库
right?
存，活的资产就叫 livestock， 变成今日就是指牲口。
Got a whole fridge in
那
there,
stockman
microwave and everything. Dude, my
就是牧羊
apartment
人
doesn't have
牧
half this stuff.
牧民的意思。所以 stockman bank 就是牧民银行，说人话就是我们在台湾的农会。好，所以英文没有很难学，所以
English
popcorn
is
就是
hard.
爆米花。晕船还是玩 VR 玩地方，发生在一个你出门会被野鹿挡车、野熊翻垃圾桶的地方。明明医疗科技顶尖，但医生下班还会自己修棚子、劈柴、钓鱼、遛狗、滑雪，搞得像野外生存专家。你会发现，加拿大最热门的车不是
I love if I understand that right, he's saying that because Canadians, even upper class ones like doctors, still go skiing, chopping wood, camping, all those things that they're own, that they're basically survival instincts. Not survival instincts, survival experts, because in Taiwan, people love camping, but it's glamping, so they never chop their own wood. They don't start their own fires. They don't really spend that much time in nature. They go to campgrounds where they have electricity, where they can take showers with hot water, and they bring everything like projectors. They can watch movies. It's a very different experience to camping in Canada. And so I guess from his perspective, the fact that people do outdoorsy stuff makes them survival experts. That's fucking hilarious. Search it by Google, bro. It's a nice fish snack for drink. Oh, Beihai. Oh, fucking this stuff. This stuff. Beihai, Beihai. Yeah, this stuff's great, man. Love this shit. I always sing their theme song. They had a commercial in like the 90s. I forget how it goes. Quit drinking, nice. Yeah, I quit drinking like 3 years ago. It's the best. Acorn also, yeah. I just joined them from the US, but I vote for Canada. My country has done little to impress me since 2016 when the Cantaloupe Castro took power. Aircon and chargers, glamping is comfy. Yeah, it is fun, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think Americans can take some solace. Like their country isn't all that bad, you know. Like you can still you still have a very high quality of life, you know. And I don't think that because you voted Republicans, it took all that away. You know, like how much did it affect your life, really? And maybe it did. I don't know. But your country's doing pretty well, and a lot better than my country, economically speaking. You know, I forgot to end the poll. There we go. Canada got 55% of the vote. I feel like if we had more Canadians in the chat, they would vote for the US.
Tesla 不是双 B 或保时捷，而是福特 F150、
Yeah.
Ram 1500、
Big ass
雪佛兰
trucks.
GMC， 甚至 Toyota 的皮卡。台湾人理想买进口车，加拿大人则以皮卡为生活指标。你说，可是皮卡很便宜吧？顶级全配皮卡一台要价10几万加币，换算台币200-300万，售价比保时捷还高。重点是，他们买这
Yeah, they don't.
车
Okay,
不
here's
是为
he's
了
probably
炫
gonna
耀
get into it，
而
here.
是要拖船、载雪地摩托
Towboats,
车
all、snowmobiles.
装打猎的战利品、上山下雪、拉露营地拖车。皮卡对他们来说是生活的延伸，不是奢侈品。
That's such a good point. It's so cool to see like a Taiwanese perspective on that. But also, I don't think a lot of Canadians are buying like top end, you know, totally tricked out trucks. I think a lot of people do with the base truck.
钱
You
到
know?
翻的人，搞不好还买2台，一台城市代步，一台野外玩乐用。房价其实比台湾好一点，但看地区落差很大。像多伦多、温哥华这种超热门城市，买一间像样的透天或别墅，动辄100万加币起跳，大概2000多万台币。但你如果愿意往大城市外移动，比如我居住的 Manitoba， 半价1300万台币左右，能买到很棒的别墅，还附带花园跟至少2个车位。很多人一有机会就搬去乡下享受生活，甚至越有钱的人住得越乡下，买一整片森林送房的那一种，要在湖边、山坡地。
I don't know, but then if you move to the countryside, then you gotta live in the countryside. And would you really want that, especially in a place like Canada, you know? Like where it's so
自己盖
inconvenient?
房，
Like, I don't
养
know
狗
if I would really want to like be living there. But then I guess if you're Taiwanese, it's a new
滑
experience.
雪、拉雪橇。
So like for them, it's probably really unique and different. But for me, like I could never live in Manitoba. Like I could never. I'm so used to living in the city, I couldn't do it. Yeah, coffee, bubble tea, that's all gonna cost the same. But his experience is gonna be quite different because, like, you know, when you living in Manitoba is a lot different than living in the rest of Canada. Haircuts are stupid expensive. That's the one really great thing. But living in Taiwan, his haircuts are so cheap. That's another
可以说是
thing.
世界
Yeah, he's talking about how like Canadians will cut their own hair, cook things, fix things. I've often talked about this like idea of like stewardship, you know? Before I get into that, let me thank Kenichi. It's nice to camp with Acorn and good snacks. Kenichi, cheers. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, buddy. And it is. We should do a camping trip sometime. They got a lot of great camping places out in the Taichung Mountains, Miaoli, like all around. Even actually in Taipei, too. Hey man, I've been meaning to ask, what's your favorite drink in Taiwan, or do you not like boba? I really like mango stuff. Anything with mango in it, love it. But I don't drink them that often because they're so full of sugar that they're really delicious, but they're so bad for you. So I don't drink them that often, but when I do, it's usually got mango. Soul Life says, I hate driving 20 minutes to the store. Well, yeah, I mean, that's life in Canada, right? Like, if you're going to live where this guy lives in Manitoba, like, that's your whole life. Kenichi again with $5. Cheers, dude. High Ace with a basic kit in Taiwan is good. Of all the rest stops, you mean High Life? Oh, the Hiace, like the Toyota Hiace, maybe. Well, the rest stops we have here to shower and park, but it's probably cheaper to live in an apartment. I wouldn't want to live in a Hiace, but I see what you mean. My whole life changed when I moved out of cold climates, says Happy Quails. Well, yeah, I mean, like life in a place like this is fucking, it's tough. It's not easy. Your car, like one thing people don't realize is like you have to have a car, right? Which we talked about before, but your car is not even going to last that long because we have to salt the roads to stop it from freezing over, right? To stop ice. But salt will eat away at your car's body and all the metal components. I mean, a car is made out of metal, right? So our cars typically last like 10 years, maybe a little bit longer before you have to scrap them. Okay, 10 years is too low, but you know what I mean? Like your car will start to rust and fall apart really easily because of all the salt. And then also just like the extra maintenance and stuff from living in such a shit
加拿大
climate.
人不抠，但超级会过日子。
Oh yeah, and then stewardship. Yeah, Taiwanese people do not have the spirit of stewardship within them. Like they don't typically like to take care of their stuff. Or at least they won't do it themselves. They would much prefer to pay someone else to do it for them, which is fine, because labor is so cheap. Whereas in Canada, because labor is so high, that a lot of people prefer to work on their own stuff. Like a lot of people like to repair their own cars, that kind of thing.
民族性方面可以说是世界上最温和的一群人了。不管你犯了什么错，他们都会先跟你说 sorry， 然后再慢慢跟你解释。你撞到别人，他会说哦 sorry。你开车忘记打灯，他会不让你3秒，然后连喇叭都不按，就祝你一路顺风。但要注意，他们表面温柔，内心界限很清楚。你不能插队，不能贪小便宜，不能太吵，违反他们的默契会被列入黑名单。加拿大
I don't know about that. Obviously, you can't cut online or be too loud, but that's the same in Taiwan. So I don't know if that's all that different. Canada is actually a
是英
political
国殖民
product
时代留下的政治产
left
物，
over from British
建国
colonial
时间不长，
times.
但
Not
秩
an
序
old
感很
country,
强。
but very
它是
orderly.
全世界少数把多民族融合得很和平的国家，说英语和法语，也包容各地移民。其中世界之最有世界最长的海岸线，世界最冷有居民居住的首都就是渥太华，世界最大冰原公路网，世界第1大枫糖出口国，世界最自由的少数族裔保护法规。再来重头戏是职场文化，
Workplace
效率不高
culture.
但人权至上。在台湾，快、准、狠是生存守则，但在加拿
That's
大
true.，
安全、平衡、人权才是王道。
Yeah, that's totally true. And I agree with exactly what he's saying. In Taiwan, so yeah, in Canada, he says human rights come first. But then, where is it?
加班要经过劳资
Whatever. He's like in Taiwan, it's like efficiency, ruthlessness, get it done. And that's true. Mostly for Taiwanese people. Like I've worked in schools and I've seen my Taiwanese colleagues just like, they bend over backwards for their
是双
bosses.
方同意，不能乱排。工会很强，
And overtime, yeah, that's something I didn't even think about. Like my Taiwanese friends often work overtime unpaid because their boss asked them to. Happens all the time. In Canada, that like never happens. Kenichi again, god damn. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. I mean to say it's probably cheaper to live in an apartment in Taiwan versus a Toyota Hiace conversion. And way more comfortable, but glamping for a few days is super. Oh yeah, for sure. If I had the money to have a little toy like a Toyota Hiace to camp in, I would fucking totally do it. But I mean, they're just so expensive. Depends if you take a car with a plastic lower body, then you don't have to do that trip. Well, no, I mean, even if you have salt corrosion, parking inside a garage. No, but it doesn't matter, right? Because if you're driving on the roads, your car picks up the salt. So it doesn't matter if you park it in the garage, it's still covered in salt. The only way you'd have to get rid of it is if you washed the salt off the undercarriage of your car. But you can't do that because you can't use your garden hose in winter because it's frozen. Or if you figured out a way to get the undercarriage of your car, if you figured out a way to wash it, then that would freeze. And now you've got ice under your car. You know the Outdoor Boys channel? That's how I imagine Canadians in rural areas live. They live a lot more rural than most people do, but yeah, and they're also in Alaska. So it's a little bit different, but not too far off. Like my family in Cape Breton live a lot like that. But it's a lot of dollars to make your car last longer. I suggest only doing this to brand new cars. Undercoating, yeah, undercoating helps for sure. But I'm just saying, I thought you meant if you don't do a treatment. Yeah, undercoating does help. I wonder how much undercoating is these days. Because I remember it wasn't too expensive when I left Canada, but I wonder if that's gone up. But yeah. Human rights isn't even second or third in Taiwan.
动不动就谈判罢工，说话要政治正确，不能讲种族、宗教笑话。该休假就休假，没有人会崇拜工作狂，但相对的效率也很感人。像是银行办个账户要等2个礼拜，医院预约可以排到1个月后。那为什么我现在换
That, guys, is that true? I don't think that's true. In banks, what does he say? Efficiency can be touching. That's true. Banks, opening an account takes 2 weeks? I don't know about that. I don't think it takes 2 weeks to get a bank account in Canada. That can't be right. That cannot be right. I take my car to the gas station and the car wash after 1 week of snow in Vancouver. Does it even snow in Vancouver that much? I thought Vancouver was like the one place in Canada where it really doesn't snow all that much. I could be wrong. But 2 weeks open a bank account in Canada? That doesn't sound right.
预约可以排到1个月后。那为什么我现在换公司？其实也不是不喜欢之前那份工作。Flatbed 卡车虽然辛苦，但真的很有挑战性。也很有成就感，每天拉着钢梁、木材、发电机到处跑，跟天气拼，跟时间拼，跟自己体力拼。但老实讲，就是这行太拼了。我换上了网球肘，冬天室外零下50度，在 North Dakota 绑铁链，手一滑还可能割破手套，卡住手指。夏天室外35度，在 Toronto 盖篷布，热到怀疑人生。后来想说，人生嘛，何必硬撑到底？所以现在我开始跑 river， 多一点冷气，
So he's changing cars because, not changing cars, he's changing jobs because the weather in Canada is just too much for him.
多一点睡。
And that makes sense. I can't blame the guy. If you're used to Taiwan and you grew up here, and then suddenly you're like tying down tarps and shit when it's minus 30 degrees, or you know, a tire goes wrong, or you're trying to do shit outside and it's minus 30, and you've never lived in an environment where it gets that cold, I can see that. I can see you wanting to change your life pretty quickly, because I mean, Jesus, like who would, even for me, like I grew up in Canada and working in conditions that are that harsh, I could see myself kind of not enjoying that either. What is going on here? Come on. My mouse refuses to go down. I can't control OBS anymore. I hate this. Anyways, yeah, so that was a trucker in Canada. I thought his video was really interesting, and he points out a lot of interesting differences between the two countries. But yeah, depends on where you live. Most banks are understaffed, so you need to make an appointment to do everything. You can't just do it at the counter. Really? Because I was in Toronto like a few years ago and I needed a new bank card. Just a card, not a new account. And it literally took me like 2 seconds. We've been getting less and less snow in Vancouver due to climate change, but I still drive up to the local mountains in Whistler. I thought Vancouver got less snow because of the mountains. Like because of where it is, it has that effect. Like the same effect that Seattle has or even Taipei has, where it creates kind of like a buffer zone or a protection zone from the cold weather effects there. It's something happens, like it's very special to Vancouver because of where it is geographically that stops it from snowing. But I could be wrong. I don't know, because I feel like if you left Vancouver and you go to anywhere else where they actually have like a proper Canadian winter, people there are like praying for climate change. It's so cold in Western Massachusetts that I remember when the fog from my breath would freeze my nostrils and eyelashes together. Fuck, I remember that too, dude. Like, especially if you have a beard and your breath creates condensation around your beard and then your beard freezes, like you get an icicle beard. God, I hated that. Like, cause when it's like a really dry air, you know, you get that kind of crispiness. This is my buddy Cole, who interviewed these two Taiwanese people who lived in Canada. And then I wanted to see, oh, this is my friend Kelsey. Unfortunately, I'm friends with most YouTubers. So these aren't really strangers. So Kelsey's Canadian, her husband's Taiwanese. They're really nice people, and they have a daughter now. And I think they moved back to BC somewhere. I don't know why I have this halfway through the video. I guess the first part was a vlog.
有时候我们不知道吃的东
Her
西有没有
Chinese is
办
really
法
good.
让我们得到均衡的营养，所以我们最近就开始找一些保健食品来吃。
今天我们想跟你们介绍一间在台湾也买得到的加拿大健康食品公司——永信健康食品。
Oh god, I started it right in the middle of an ad read.
晒到太阳，它
God
是
damn
一种没有加糖或什么，
Is this whole
就
thing
是
an
帮
ad?
助小孩的消化，因为
保健食品都有加拿大卫生部 NPN 的认证编号，
所以都有认证过安全有效。
在温哥华的朋友可以直接到永信健康食品的3间
Oh, they live in
门市购
Vancouver.
买，
That
他
is
们的店员都
insane.
可以提供专业。
Vancouver is so expensive. If this whole thing is an ad read, I'll be very disappointed. Classic Canadian snack or North American snack. Just crackers, cheese, and pickles. The fucking best.
Turquoise. Turquoise, so pretty. 今天Louis说他想要吃海南鸡饭，我之前有煮过一次，我就是在 IG 看到有人拍 reel 做一个。
I was really hoping they would discuss their life in Canada, but it's more of like a vlog. I didn't watch it yet because I wanted to get like an honest reaction, but it seems to be about something different, so we'll skip that. Apologies. Ken, good lord. Ken with the win. Cheers, Ken. Returning from Kaohsiung to Taipei with my girlfriend tomorrow. Gonna stay in Kaohsiung for a while or a night. Hit me up if you're free. If not, next time. But I live in Taichung. So, I don't know. If I'm in Kaohsiung, I'll definitely let you know. We'll hang out. I'm a gal, but I can imagine. Oh. Well, this whole time I thought you were a dude. My apologies. My apologies. I thought most of the people that watch my channel are men. Taipei is a basin, maybe traps moisture at the bottom. I'm stupid, so I'm not sure. Don't worry, Copper Nude, I'm just as dumb. But yeah, I know. Okay, so now I know you're a gal, but if you ever grow a beard as a woman, you'll know what I mean.
Did both of you experience culture shock?
Yeah, I think the one she mentioned the most is the smell of marijuana on the street.
Smell of marijuana.
People just ask me to go back to China.
Today I am with two very special guests that traveled quite far to be here. From where? Where are you?
Canada. We also live in Vancouver now. Whoa.
Okay, was that?
Figures. I should have made that a poll. Like, where are they living? Should I say Taichung, bro? Auto context. Autocorrect. Okay, yeah. If you're in Taichung, let me know. We'll hang out. Didn't mention it either. Oh, okay. Um, I should have asked, where do you guys think that where they live in Canada? Obviously, it's Vancouver.
Magical.
Not being racist, but let's be real here. If you are Taiwanese, and you move to Canada, there's like, a 90% chance you chose Vancouver or you chose Toronto.
Oh, that was like, welcome to Taiwan. There was like 1,000 pigeons, and I don't think we got pooed on, so I think we're good. It's a very windy place.
Very windy place.
Both of you are currently living in Canada. What brought the two of you to Canada?
Because his job.
Yeah, because my job. So I work as a software engineer in a U.S. company. I work in this company is almost 12 years now. So
Oh, you've been there a while.
yeah, it's a long time. There
He must
were
get paid
15 of
bank.
us in the same department, and we all moved to Vancouver together.
You guys met in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Where
When we
did
are
the
a
two of you
student,
meet?
in university.
Yeah, when we first met, we were students, but we haven't.
He has to get paid so much money, software engineer for an American
There,
company
it's
based
like-
in Canada.
It's like you go to the liquor shop to buy alcohol, and you go to the pot shop to buy pot, and that's just normal.
Yeah.
What did you think about? Like, it was very multicultural.
I kind of experienced that even when in Taiwan, because I work in an international company. I have a Indian boss, and I have a colleague. They are living in Taiwan, however, they are from France, and they are from.
Oh, you had an Indian boss, a French colleague.
Yeah. Like, interesting stuff is that they all speak like Mandarin pretty well. Well, Indian boss don't speak Mandarin, but like my French colleagues speak.
What's
Mandarin.
with French people and how good their Chinese is? Can I just say that? Because every French guy I know, or woman, is like perfect.
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, I agree with that. Most of my French friends speak really good Chinese for whatever reason. I don't know why French people are just naturally talented at learning new language. Only smart people live in Vancouver, but we're also poorer for it. I don't know. I mean, there's a reason why everyone wants to live there, right? It's because the weather's so nice, and it's kind of a beautiful city in a beautiful part of Canada. Like, that's why it's so expensive. Like, no one's moving to Vancouver. I mean, no one's moving to like Manitoba en masse. Actually, Indian people are, but you know what I mean? Like, Vancouver's a lot more sought after than the rest of Canada for the same reason that California in the States is so expensive, because of course everyone wants to live there,
Yeah.
Perfect Mandarin.
And most of us still Taiwanese, so we kind of, even we work in international companies, we still speak Mandarin for most of the time.
I should get a.
But however, we kind of get used to this kind of culture, to have different people from different backgrounds.
How stressful was that for you to?
Let me get a poll going here.
Because we just learn English in the school, but we don't use the English in the
for
company.
Conversation.
Yeah. And I remember when in the beginning, when I go to the supermarket in Vancouver, I feel nervous because they will ask you, "How are you?"
Oh yeah.
Are you good? Yeah.
The people who work there, right?
Yeah.
How was your day? Yeah. The medical care in Taiwan versus Canada, how would you compare them?
In Canada, you kind of, the first entry is always family doctor, right? You need
I can't add any more. I can't add any more options here. So those are your options. Where are you watching from? The internet being cut because the internet's slowing down because the cable's being cut? I don't know. I think it's just my internet shit because I just have shit internet. But yeah. I wonder if reacting to these is a good idea. I've lost a lot of people in this chat.
You go to find a stomach
doctor,
a clinic directly. It kind of makes good and bad, because you will know, like, a lot of Taiwanese, they go to clinic just for small flus.
You mean like they take advantage of it here a little bit?
It's kind of natural, right? When
it's natural.
When the system is so accessible,
Yeah.
you just don't think. I just go to the doctor, and
Yeah, that's a good point.
that's where I start to realize.
Taiwanese people love, like, they go to the doctor for everything. Like, if they have a cold, they'll go to the doctor. Whereas in Canada, like, no one would go to the doctor for a cold.
After moved to Canada, I start to just learn what kind of medicine I need to.
Do I really need this or not?
Yeah, I would look at label, like what's this medicine for? Because like in Taiwan, I would just go to the clinic and the doctor will give me like green pill, red pill,
pink pill,
and I
yellow pill.
I don't even know what they are.
I always actually research, and often I get rid of, like, some of them are like, why do I need this?
But in Taiwan, I don't do that before.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah, and now in Canada, I'm more conscious about like what kind of medicine, what is for.
Okay, so that's an interesting. Did you become more health conscious?
Because
I am really hoping that I don't know why, but OBS has just crashed on me, I think. I'm not sure. I can't Alt-Tab out of anything anymore. And now I'm trying to figure out what's going on. My second monitor stopped working. Oh well. But it seems the chat's still going, so the stream is still on. You omitted an option for all the CCP spies watching your channel. Well, there is no YouTube. There's no YouTube in China, so they can't. There's no way for them to watch. Kenichi again! Good lord. I think just alone in this stream, Ken, you've got, what's that? 10, 20, 35, $37. That's like, not more than that. That's like most of my ad rev that you're matching here with these. You and Alan are funny as fuck to chill with, so good to catch up again, bro. We'll update you guys tomorrow. We'll see how the timing works out. Been in Kaohsiung for a few days, but stopping in Taichung when returning. Cool, man. Well, let me know. I have Chinese class tomorrow, but after that, I'm sure I'll be free. Oh no, bring back the little pink bots. The little pink bots. What little pink bots? What are you talking about? What pink bots? God damn. I hate being confused because now, like, because OBS is not working, I have no idea what you're even able to see, like if you can even see my screen. Because I can't Alt-Tab out of anything. And I can't even open up, I can't open up Google Chrome anymore. God damn it. Mirror or extend to, yeah, that's what I want. But now I can't, my other one's not working. Sweet Ken, cheers, homie. I live in Taiwan, but every time I see a doctor, I check what medicine they prescribe to me. I do the same thing, and then you decide whether or not. Let me just make sure I'm reading that right. I decide, yeah, I do the exact same thing. I'll take the medicine from the doctor, but then I'll Google it and see what it actually is. Because I've gone for, like, I don't know, like I broke my foot and they'll give me like fucking cough medicine. And I'm like, what the hell? Because they give you so much. They'll give you like packets and packets and packets of medication that you don't need. But the reason they do it is because old people particularly like to complain about the doctors like under medicating them. And they feel like they didn't get taken care of well enough. And so doctors will just give them like a ton of medication so that you know, like it makes them feel like they were taken care of, if that makes sense. And it's just like, it's insane because when you go, they give you a ton of medicine that you don't need. I do the exact same thing. Let's see this. Most people are watching, oh geez, it's split from USA to Europe. So no one's watching from Australia, which is shocking. I usually have a lot of Australian viewers. It must be because it's the time. Oh no, it's not. 38% are in Europe. What the F? I'm guessing... I mentally included the UK when I say Europe. So... Oh, Lucas is in the chat. Lucas loves to join my chats hours into them. What's up, Lucas? I'm currently having technical issues. My my Mac monitor stopped working. And then I'm guessing OBS. I'm guessing OBS and Google Chrome crashed, and now I can't open either of them. Alt tab does nothing. Or maybe it's Shift tab. No, it's not. So the only thing I can open right now is my chat. It's the only thing you can see. My bar on the bottom doesn't open. I can do nothing right now. So it's very annoying. So this is basically the stream, is me watching the chat. I can change nothing. My computer's had an absolute meltdown over here. Oh well, it's time to upgrade my Mac. Yeah, Ken left Australia. I would include the UK with Europe too. Yeah, I just don't know how British people feel about it after Brexit, you know? But I'm surprised so many people are watching from the UK. But it looks like the US has just taken a strong lead with 43%. How does that even make sense? How did I get that so wrong? Or was it just updating the poll so slowly? 43% US, 36% Europe. I didn't know so many people would be watching from Europe. UK is still part of Europe, but not EU. Oh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They're not going to like fucking geographically leave Europe, are they? They're not going to like join, I don't know. Actually, knowing the British, if they had to leave Europe and not just the EU, they'd make their own fucking continent. You know, like they would name their own continent. They wouldn't join like North America, or they certainly wouldn't join Africa. They'd name their own thing, you know. That would be my best guess. Now Europe and USA are tied. God damn. But yeah. It's kind of interesting, like, especially because on my last poll, I asked like which country is better, Canada or the USA. Canada got 55% of the votes, despite the fact that 40% of you are American. Which is interesting. I would have thought USA would have gotten more of the votes, considering the fact that the USA is doing so much better as a country than Canada is, economically anyways. Free Northern Ireland. I don't think... Isn't it that Northern Irish people want to be part of the British Empire, and that's why they're Northern Ireland? Like, that's why they're separated? Isn't that why? Isn't that like the whole idea behind separating the two countries? So unless you're Irish and you know more about it than I do, which, like, there's a good chance. Okay, that closes everything. Let's bring it back down. Give me my apps back, goddamn computer. British Empire. You know what I mean? The British, the British, the United Kingdom. I suppose it's not much of an empire anymore, is it? He just says, I don't know. He's just, Soul Life is out here talking shit. He's out here like, he's probably American and he's like, free Northern Ireland. He's just out here. I don't think it's divided now. I'm pretty sure Ireland and Northern Ireland are different countries. So what do you mean it's not divided? Aren't they? Did I not add Taiwan to my thing? Fuck, I'm so goddamn dumb. I didn't even add Taiwan to my poll. But I couldn't add more than 4 to my poll, I think. Apologies. No wonder Lucas said he's watching from Taiwan. He had no way of like adding it to the thing. Let's go. I unfortunately, oh shit, I gotta close this one. That's surprising. I unfortunately have no control over the situation, but I'll think about it. Let's ask the chat. Should I personally free the Northern Irish? Let's fucking go, boys. I'll see what I can do. I'll call up King Charles. I meant the opinion of people in Northern Ireland wanting to be part of the UK or not is divided. It is? I thought the whole... Okay, hang on. So, I've never understood this, and every time I talk to Irish people, they're usually drunk and upset. So the conversation never goes very well. But it's something like... I'm trying to understand it. It's something like Irish people are their own thing, and they want to be Ireland and separate from the British, and they're not very happy with the British because of the history there. The Northern Irish are a different religion. They're like Protestant, and they prefer to be British or something, and that's the separation. But what you're saying is that within Northern Ireland, there's people who want to be part of the UK, and there's some people who don't want to be part of the UK. But do the people within Northern Ireland who don't want to be part of the UK, do they also want to join Ireland? Or I don't know. Yo, Prozzy, what's your thoughts on the bacon/ham McMuffin 7-Eleven sell? I'm about to buy 2 and some juice. Ken, let's be honest, you're about to buy some fucking beer, dude. I don't know. I don't eat that from 7. I do eat a lot from 7-Eleven just because I often eat late at night. And they're the only place open. But I've never eaten those. Give them a whirl. Let me know how they are. Unification for the Irish Empire is inevitable. Dude, the Irish Empire would be like, they would take Boston back, most of the Maritimes, you know, like if their empire was like the settlers, Irish settlers, you'd have like most of the world. Thanks, Uber. Hang on, I got a rather important text. This live stream is coming crashing down because I literally can only watch the chat. I cannot change the view. I can't change the scene. I can't open I can't open an internet browser. I can do nothing right now except stare at the chat. So the chat right now, the live stream from now on out, guys, is just me and you. Let's see how long we can keep this going. So I'm reacting to your comments. I'm relying on you guys for content because I can't do anything else about it. So let's get it going. And if I don't have enough here, I'm going to have to end this because this is ridiculous. 89% of you think I should release I should free the Northern Irish. I don't think I will. I think just to spite you guys, I'm going to keep them. No different than the Quebec question. The people won't know what they're missing until they lose it, like Brexit. Yeah, I mean, if Quebec leaves Canada, that's basically the end of Canada, in my opinion. Because they would be a landlocked country who just gave an excuse for a bunch of other provinces to leave Canada who are kind of not happy about it. Fellow content creator JJ McCullough, I think is how you say his name. I really like his videos, and he did one on the question of Quebec independence. Well, no, it was about Alberta independence, Alberta separating from Canada. And he said that there isn't actually, a party or an organization that is dedicated to Albertan independence, and so it's probably not going to happen. It's more of like a fringe online echo chamber that you hear about. Which is different to Quebec because they have the Bloc Québécois, which is, a whole party based off separating from Canada, What do you think about ICE in the US and the fall of an empire? Go BRICS. What the fuck is BRICS? Is that a sports team? I don't have any idea what that is. And all I know about ICE, I can't tell you what I think when I don't know what the hell it is. All I know about ICE is that I don't even know if they're new or if they're an old thing that's just grown a lot, but I think it's some kind of government organization that finds illegal immigrants and deports them. Am I wrong? And I'm not arguing. I'm not like, haha, gotcha, you stupid liberal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm genuinely asking the question, is that what they are or not? Because I really don't know. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Aristed? Does Prozzy think Quebec should be independent? I can understand why they want to be independent because they have such a different culture and their own language and all that. And I do feel like Quebec people are so different, like when I go to Quebec. But also, they're not that different, Like, it's kind of weird. But I hope they stay in Canada because there's something so deeply Canadian about having them a part of our country. Especially like a family like mine, which is French Canadian on my father's side and English on the other. Well, my mom's side's Irish, I guess. I meant linguistically English. It would suck. Especially because they give the Canadians such a strong national identity, and that's really hard for Canadians because we're in the similar boat as Taiwanese people, Like, we're a product of the British Empire, the French, and more recently American culture. And we share all these three things. And so we don't have a lot to call our own. But Quebec and French Canadian culture is something we can call our own. So it'd be really sad if they did be independent. Stick your phone screen to the camera so you can give us what you want us to watch. Yeah, God, that'd be like such a Chinese live stream in some way, like just figuring out a way to get it to work. I didn't press anything. The fuck? It's just changed the language on my keyboard to English. I've been wondering about whether separation in Canada is US driven. OTM. No. or response to Trudeau's earlier efforts? Typos usually can't. Do you mean Trudeau's? No, so separating from Canada is not a new idea. The Bloc Québécois has been around for a long time. And they've come damn close to passing, I think it was a referendum, to separating from Canada, but it didn't pass. But if you're talking more about Alberta separating from Canada, or more of the western provinces, I really don't think that they will. I just don't think that they will. And is that an American thing? It could be. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to tell because... Oh, Trump's. Gotcha. Okay. Trump's earlier efforts. Trump didn't put any effort into it. Let's be real. He didn't. He just said some shit. There was no effort. But I get what you mean. It's hard to tell because Canada is run by a series of monopolies in so many businesses, whether it's air travel or the media. You know, like the media, like the CBC is funded by the government. And so you can see how that isn't necessarily the best for fair and honest news when the government is subsidizing your news agency. So it's hard to know like what's real or not. I'm sure there's Albertans who feel they want to separate from Canada, but I don't think it's enough of them where they'll actually do it. And it's like to JJ's point in his video that I can't fucking show you right now because my laptop blew up. There's no organization. There's no political movement to separate from Canada. So I don't think... I just don't think it'll happen, you know. Should I free the Irish? 85% of you said yes. I'm not listening to you. No way. I'll say if Ken says yes, then I'll do it. Ken's the biggest supporter here. He's earned it. But so far, the Northern Irish they still belong to me. Okay. I am ruling the Northern Irish with an iron fist. But is the state of my country in a good one? Is it a good state to be in? No, my country's a mess right now. I currently live in Montreal, and I do feel Quebec is quite isolated. Months ago, I tried to apply a few online banks, and they all show they only provide service in Canada, but Quebec. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true, eh? Because they have their own banks? Or maybe they haven't... I was going to say maybe they haven't implemented a French service yet, but I think that's illegal. You're going to have to open a bank with like Desjardins or something, you know, who I know that's an insurance company, but don't they have banking? I don't know. I do love Montreal though. What a fantastic city. It's so pretty there and it's so fun. You know, the rest of Canada is very, I don't want to say boring, but it's very, like, straight-edged, very... Like, you can't have too much fun, you know what I mean? And maybe that's just me because I grew up in Ottawa, which is a government city, right? It's the capital, and so it's sort of... really values maturity. Like it's, you know, get a good job and don't make too much noise and live your life quietly. It's a nice life. But Montreal is so much more fun, you know. Like you can go to a dépanneur and maybe that dépanneur has their own thing going on, its own like vibe or its own snacks, or maybe it has like, it's almost like, what are those Spanish things called in New York, a bodega, you know, and it's really cool because the rest of Canada, it's all, like I said, it's all monopolized. Like a Max Milk or something will be like the only convenience store you can go to, or you know, like Loblaws is the only fucking grocery store in Canada. you know, Loblaws owns like all the grocery store brands, but Quebec has their own thing. A dépanneur, by the way, is a convenience store. I don't really know how to translate that. It's a convenience store, I guess. Soul Life says the Americanification of Canada is sad. I was happy to see them win, but the union effort, though. Oh, win on the union effort, though. What do you mean? I'm so curious. What do you mean the Americanification of Canada? Because Canada is and kind of always has been very similar to Americans, to American culture. Like what recently has... And again, I'm not challenging you, I'm just curious because I don't live there anymore. Like, what about Canada has become so American to you that it wasn't like that before, you know? GGLI says, or GGLL, I don't know. People think separation would solve their economic issues and hardships like Brexit. It won't.